What's going on, guys? Welcome back into the channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing a free agency related video and show you guys a method that you can utilize to get any player that you want within Madden in free agency. You can bring any player to your team for this method, and this can be utilized in multiple different ways. We'll talk a little bit about that as we go through it, but we're here in off-season free agency stage 1. We have a pretty bad team, and we have a whole bunch of salary cap that we can utilize to bring in players that are going to have bids on them from other teams. And we can utilize our method here in order to secure every single one of these players. So we're going to go ahead and find some of the top players here and put in bids for them. And we're going to make sure that we're able to lock up some of the best players in this free agency class in order to take our team to the next level. So we're going to start with Davante Adams here. And Davante Adams wants a $118 million deal. He wants a big signing bonus and a pretty hefty salary. And ultimately, if we were to give him this base offer, it's going to come out to about a 90-point offer. That's going to put us real close to the Colts, who have an offer here. Now, you guys can go through, you can increase the amount of money that you're paying this guy, and ultimately, if you do that, you're bidding against yourself because you're going to have to pay all that extra money for the length of the contract. We're going to have to pay that for 5 years. But what we can do instead is we can give this player a 1-year max deal that's going to pretty much guarantee us to sign this player. So we don't even necessarily have to take the salary all the way up, but if we take the bonus money all the way up, which is guaranteed money, which is weighted very heavily within Madden, that's going to increase our offer all the way to $101 million. So going back into that player, if we really want to secure this player, for example, we are doing this over 1 year, we'll go to the max contract. We'll give him 20 and 20. We'll give him a 1-year, $40 million contract, and then he's going to get 114 bid points on him, and he's going to be more likely to sign with our team. Now, this isn't foolproof. They will occasionally sign to other teams that are bidding on that player, and for a lot of players, this actually helps to increase a bid past 150 points, which means that you're almost guaranteed to sign the player. But the real point here is that you can utilize this to get that one free agent that you really want, that a bunch of other people are bidding on, that you need to put a higher offer in on, that you need to be able to sign, and you don't want to sign them to a massive amount of money like other people are giving them over 4 or 5 years or multiple years. Say it's an older player like Trent Brown here. I don't want to give him all this money over 4 or 5 years. Instead, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give him 1 year with the max amount of bonus money, and that's going to put my bid significantly higher now. So now I'm the highest bid on both of these players, and all I'm doing is giving them 1-year contracts. And that's where we get into some of the discussion of what's going to be even more effective beyond that, and what's the benefit of doing deals in this way. Well, if you have the money to do it, or let's say it's only one player that you really want and you have the money for that one player to do this with, what you're going to end up being able to do is then re-sign these players the next year for a less expensive contract. And that's for multiple reasons. Well, number one, we're talking about a non-competitive contract. We're not talking about going out on the free agent market and bidding against the Chargers, the Bengals, the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Colts for these players. Instead, we have our in-house re-signing system to be able to re-sign the players. So chances are good that you're going to be able to sign them for a reasonable contract for what these players really are, as opposed to going out there and having to sign these players against other bids that are out there on the market, especially if you're up against other user teams. One thing I'll caution you guys against is that this is considered a cheese method. I mean, players aren't signing these types of contracts in real life. I mean, if somebody was to offer $20 million guaranteed to a player, they might take it, especially at some of these positions like receiver, cornerback, offensive line. So it is a legitimate method within the game, but it's not necessarily the cleanest or the most recommended method to go out here and get free agents within the game. So we have about 27 million left here. Let me see if I can't search and find another player that's out here that I might really want. Perhaps maybe Jabril Peppers. He's got 3 teams bidding on him, so let's go ahead and do the same thing. Now, like I said, this isn't foolproof, so when we advance, I'm hoping that we sign every single one of these players. We are giving them the most in terms of bid points, but chances are good, just based on the way Madden's system works, we're not going to land every single one of these players. So let's go ahead and advance real quick, and we'll be able to see who we actually get accepted offers on and rejected offers on based on those 1-year deals that we were able to negotiate with all these players. So in fact, as we see, we got all of those players. We got Trent Brown, we got Juju Smith-Schuster, Smith-Schuster, we got Devontae Adams, Jabril Peppers, and we were able to get J.C. Jackson. So we were able to bring in all of these impact players. We were able to see in the middle of our screen there, our team overall went up from what, a 68 or 69 all the way to a 77 on offense, 74 on defense, 74 as an overall. Now keep in mind, you're probably not going to have the cap space to be able to do this with every single player, but there are a couple of implications here. So number one, we talked about the ability to sign these players to long-term contracts, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment, how to make that work effectively for you. But the other implication here is, let's say you're starting up a new franchise when Madden 23 comes out. I know that they're modifying contract systems and free agency systems, so this might not work quite the same, but let's say you're in a franchise right now, or you're starting a franchise right now on Madden 22 to get ready for Madden 23. It's your last franchise you're doing. Pick a team that starts with a crap ton of cap space, like the Texans or something like that, and you'll have the $150 million in cap space that I just showed you right here that you can utilize in the first offseason, and you'll be able to utilize this method to get yourself some really good free agents over the other people within the franchise. Trust me, other players are not aware of this. A lot of people are not aware of this. I use this in some of my franchises. Very few people actually utilize this method to guarantee free agents because, to be honest with you, it's not that common of a thing for players to do or teams to do, but in addition to that, it's kind of a just unknown. And so it's not really the most realistic thing to do. It's not really something that people think to do in the first place. But what I wanted to elaborate on a little bit is how we can do these one-year deals and get these players into our teams and then guarantee that we're going to be able to re-sign them for cheaper. Well, that's where the new staff system comes into play. So if we go into our managed staff system, we go into our franchise staff, under your player personnel talent tree, you're going to have abilities that you can purchase that are going to allow you to re-sign players for cheaper. So right here, 5% discount on players under an 80 overall to re-sign, and then the next time we upgrade that, that takes it to an 85, and the next time beyond that, it takes it to a 90. So if you're using this method on anybody under a 90, you're going to have a pretty easy time to re-sign them because you're going to get a discount when you go to re-sign them whenever the contracts pop up. Now, the other thing that you guys can do here to make this an even more effective method is you can utilize all of these traits in the player personnel talent tree to make those bids worth even more money. So some of those bids that we put on those players with $20 million guaranteed on 1 year were worth 115, 130 points. Instead, what you can do is you can buy all of these traits, which increase the likelihood of signing a free agent, and that's going to take those bids from 115, 130 points to 150 plus points, and nobody's going to be able to compete with those contracts unless they're utilizing the same method. And that's it, guys. That's the method. That's how you guys can pretty much guarantee that you're going to be able to sign any free agent you want within Madden 22, within free agency and franchise mode. As I just showed you guys, we were able to pick up every single one of those players on a 1-year high money contract. Focus on the bonus money. You don't even have to do this method necessarily and take it to this extent. This is taking it to a crazy extent, offering players $20 million guaranteed on a 1-year deal. You don't even have to do that. If you flip the money to guaranteed money, you're going to attract that player. So switch those contracts to 1-year deals, give them a bunch of guaranteed money. Like I said, it doesn't have to be 20 million, but you're still going to have an effective time utilizing this methodology. So with that being said, I do hope that this information helped somebody out there. This is a very useful strategy to have within franchise mode, within free agency, because other people are potentially going to be doing it, and you don't want to lose out on those players that are going to be crucial to turning your franchise around. So make sure you guys leave a like down below, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. I'll see you guys as always in the next video, and I hope you guys have a good one.